I watched Despicable Me 4, so you don't have to review. Warning, there are spoilers in this video, I promise you. Okay.
Illumination is back with yet another entry in the Despicable Me franchise. And you know what that means? There's about to be a large uptick in Minion memes shared to your...
Before it even starts, this movie sucked. The villain sucked. He sucked. The only thing good about it was the ending dance scene where all the Vector showed up. That was the good part of it. That was
Grandma's Facebook page. It also means that I have to watch another movie featuring the Minions.
I can't do it. I can't do it again. I've already seen 5 of these movies. What could they possibly do to make this movie unique?
Hang on. Can that Minion fly?
They fly now! They fly now! They fly now!
Well, if they fly now, I have to see it.
1 hour and 34 minutes later. Not worth it.
They fly now.
The Despicable Me franchise is interesting. The best comparison I can come up with for it is that these movies are like watching a person who's peaked in high school desperately try and fail to recapture the glory days, only moving further and further from them with every attempt. Creatively speaking.
Yeah, that's actually such a good
Financially, this franchise continues to print money for Illumination and Universal, thanks in no small part to these little freaks. It almost seems like Universal has realized if they just slap a Minion on something, people will instantly pay for it.
Exactly.
Sir, I'm gonna have to ask you to please.
I'd like to point out, this is very true. If you've ever been to Universal, everything has Minions on it. I went to Universal Studios. Oh, I go to Universal Studios pretty often. Anyway, I've been to Universal Studios many times, right? Many times. Every single time I go, there's at least every single shop that we go into, there's a Minions section, right? There's a Gru section. There's straight up a section dedicated to the little yellow pills that are like walking around with little glasses on. I mean, I love the Minions, but still, that's a little bit overdone.
Pay your taxes. No. How about now? Ugh, fine.
I'll admit, growing up, I liked the original Despicable Me. Heck, I still believe that it's a pretty good film. Now, is it better?
I like the original the best. And then Macho Man the second. Because Vector, good villain. Also, the original, Gru was a villain, right? And if Gru's a villain, it makes the movies 10 times better. Because when he's part of the AVL, it makes it terrible. Because it's more fun when he's stealing the moon than stopping someone from stealing a gem, right? That's so much better.
Better than Megamind like Rotten Tomatoes claims? That's up for you to decide. Either way, it's good. And audiences seemed to agree with that sentiment because it made more than $500 million.
Yep.
And you know what happens when an animated movie earns a lot of money? It gets a sequel. Despicable Me 2 was decent. Sure, the villain was a little weaker than Vector, and the plot was a little bonkers, but it wasn't terrible by any means. Unfortunately, this streak of good to decent animated films couldn't last with the release of the Minions movie in 2015.
Uh-oh is right.
This is where these movies kinda started to lose me. After that, we got Despicable Me 3 featuring the incredibly creative and not at all random character of Gru, Gru's twin brother. Gosh, I can't say how much I dislike the secret twin trope in media. Except in Gravity Falls. Gravity Falls can stay. Anyway, following Despicable Me 3, we got Minions 2. Hooray! And that leads us to the latest entry in the series, Despicable Me 4.
And
so,
you already know they're gonna make
how does this movie stack up to the rest of the...
worse and worse and worse, and it's like the budget's going down even though they keep making more money. Like, what the heck?
Movies in the franchise. To answer that question, let's first take a look at the general premise of this...
No.
Movie, because I feel like it had quite a bit of potential. An old rival of Gru's swears revenge on him and his family, so they have to leave their lives, go into hiding, adopt new identities, and attempt to fit in with a new neighborhood. Honestly, not a terrible idea for one of these movies. I can see how a concept like this could lend itself to some funny situations and memorable character moments.
Caleb, I'll call you when I'm done with 3X.
And credit where credit is due, there are a few visual and character gags that I genuinely found humorous in this movie.
Oh, that's very true.
But I'm gonna be
my
honest.
gosh. I felt bad for the minion that got left behind. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. The minion that got left behind at the safe house in the vending machine. I felt bad.
For the most part, this movie doesn't really do anything interesting with the setup it's given. In fact, for the first half of this movie, it kind of feels like nothing happens. Sure, we get introduced to Gru's son, who is essentially rip-off Jack from The Incredibles, as well as the villain, Maxim Lemal, played by Will Ferrell. But besides those couple things, it felt like the first
villain
40...
was terrible. I feel like it's a used thing, right? It would be better if it was like an AVL agent, like one of and then they turned evil or something like that. Maxime Lemal was just like a terrible idea in general. Like, so bad.
5 minutes of this movie were just Gru's family and the minions engaging in pointless, wacky hijinks and nothing else. Oh boy, Lucy is pretending that she knows how to be a hairstylist, but she's actually bad at it. Oh boy, the minions are being silly. Oh man, Gru was trying to make friends with the neighbors, but he's bad at it. Back to the minions being goofy. Oh man, the girls are in karate class. Back to the minions being quirky. Truly riveting stuff. I know that people have made a lot of jokes about recent animated movies being written by AI, and while I don't think this movie was, I'd be lying if I said it doesn't feel like it sometimes. Say what you want about the other movies in this franchise, but at least they felt like actual movies rather than a bunch of random disjointed plot lines stitched together. I wouldn't be surprised if it was revealed that this film was
so there's an A story, a B story, a C story, a D story, and an E story. There's like 5 stories, right? So there's okay. Let me break down the movie for you a little bit. So what's going on, right? You got Gru and him just being a father. That could be a movie himself. And then they got Maxime Lemal, the villain. They got Gru fighting the villain. That's the other thing. They got their secret identities. That kind of goes with the Maxime Lemal thing, but we'll get to that later. I'm gonna say that's a different plotline, right? Then they got the minions. That's a plotline in and of itself, right? The vending machine minions. I'm putting that in its own category. They got the karate classes. They got everything. Okay, that's 6 stories I just named right there. And there's more I just can't think of because I watched it like 3 days ago and I don't know. It wasn't a good enough movie for me to remember every bit of it. But yeah, it was just a lot. I can agree with that.
Supposed to be a low-budget Despicable Me TV show, but then the higher-ups at Universal said, well, what if we take these episodes and just smash them together for the next movie? Speaking of things in this movie that feel underbaked and not super thought out, the villain in this movie, played by Will Ferrell, is underwhelming.
Agreed.
Which makes me sad because of
cockroaches. He's a cockroach. I know, so scary. There's an anti-serum and everything. Like, bro, come on.
A small part of me was excited for Will Ferrell to play this movie's villain. This is the same man who played Megamind, master of all villainy. If anyone could play a villain to rival Jason Segel's Vector, it's him. Unfortunately, the character just doesn't do it for me. Not because Ferrell does a bad job, but because the character is just kinda lame. He's a half-man, half-cockroach guy who has a gun that can turn people into half-human, half-cockroaches. You guys got Will Ferrell for this movie? And the best you could give him was this? This villain is so lame, even by Despicable Me standards. I'm not gonna act like Vector and El Macho were super deep villains, but at least they had real motivations beyond, I hate Gru because he embarrassed me in high school. God, real motivations.
No, I would have to disagree with him there. See, now, El Macho was a cool villain. And you can't disagree. He had a secret lair. He had a serum that turned minions to his side. He took Dr. Nefario. All of that. Now, Vector was cool too, right? I think El Macho comes in first place.
Beyond, I hate Gru because he embarrassed me in high school. Gosh, I can't believe I'm living in the timeline where Will Ferrell was in Despicable Me 4 instead of Megamind 2.
It's so easy to get your windshield replaced using Safelite. Tell the people why you haven't done it. It started off as a chip, and it just keeps...
The rest of the characters in this film are similarly half-baked. Lucy and the three girls aren't really given much to do. The redhead girl, played by Joey King, is kinda...
Oh, I hate that girl. Oh my gosh, there's the other story that was missing. That's the 7th story. That girl in her lisp. Her lisp. She talks like this. Hi, guys. Imagine if I, like, talked like this for 3.5 hours. Wouldn't you be annoyed? None of you guys would watch the streams because I have a lisp. Like, that's how she talks. It's so annoying.
Insufferable. She's clearly there just to appeal to the Gen Zers, and even makes a boomer joke, which made me viscerally cringe. Stephen Colbert's in this movie. Okay. The Minions have a small storyline where the Anti-Villain League creates a team of Minion superheroes, and those scenes are fine, even if they have virtually no effect on the main story. I'd say this film primarily focuses on Gru,
and they like absolutely just like do everything.
Gru and his son's relationship, but even that story feels undercooked. At the start of the movie, Gru's son hates him, and he kind of hates him the entire movie.
He does.
That is until the climax of the movie where the writers realized, oh wait, we should probably make it so Gru Jr. doesn't hate Gru anymore. So randomly, at the very end, Gru Jr. decides he likes his dad for no other reason than plot convenience. I know I've been a little negative in this video, so let me talk about...
He didn't save him or anything. Oh, I'm pausing this a lot, by the way. Sorry, guys. He didn't, like, save anyone, do anything. He just lived, and then Gru Jr. loved him. He just lived.
Some of the stuff I liked. I thought the visuals in this movie looked really good. The environments were incredibly pretty, and there were a number of shots that I thought were pretty impressive as well. I like the design of Gru's high school, even if it just looks like Hotel Transylvania to me.
No,
The design of Gru's high school.
No, I did not think of Hotel Transylvania. I thought Hogwarts, but I guess it does look more like Hotel Transylvania.
Even if it just looks like Hotel Transylvania to me. I like how Gru has specific minions who change his son's diaper for him. That's really funny. And despite a lot of the characters feeling lackluster,
they walk in like an army, and then they just change the diaper and then walk out. It was so funny.
I will say that the voice acting was pretty good. Nothing mind-blowing, but not bad. Overall, Despicable Me 4 is exactly what you'd expect from Illumination at this point. Maybe one day they will release a movie that
best character in the movie, right there in the middle. Best character in the movie. He has such a small role, but he's so funny.
Is the first Despicable Me in terms of quality, but I'm not holding my breath. Luckily, Pixar just released Inside Out 2, which was really good, and DreamWorks is about to release The Wild Robot. So the rest of 2024's animated...
for The Wild Robot. I hope it doesn't disappoint me. I want to watch it so bad. Since I read the book, you know, everyone read the book, but like, you know, I hope it doesn't disappoint me.
Movies are looking pretty good. Disney, you better not mess it up with Moana 2.
Oh, Moana 2 is gonna suck. I already know, because how do you make a Moana 2? Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.